ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Panel to Panel, the only comic book web show that believes that chimichangas is the breakfast of champions. I'm Spin Dash, and with me tonight is the Space Chief.
Word.
We have Jules.
Hi, everyone.
Uni is here.
Again, finally.
Megan is here, looking lovely as ever. And Pedro is here. Can you talk, Pedro, or are you completely fanboying?
I'm a bit nervous.
You're a bit nervous. That's because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us. You may know him from his many books, such as The Deadpool Trilogy, Fearless Defenders, Helheim, The Sixth Gun. Mr. Cullen Bunn, thank you, sir, for coming on our show tonight.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So what we want to do tonight is we want to start talking about, we're going to start off, we got a good agenda tonight, a lot to cover. So the first thing we do want to talk about is, of course, the series that just recently wrapped up with Fearless Defenders.
Okay.
Most of us, I know I was following it from the very beginning. I absolutely loved the book. I loved seeing characters I hadn't seen in a while getting their time to shine. So how did that book come about? Was that something you pitched, or did Marvel come out and say, hey, we want to bring Valkyrie back?
No, well, I was doing a book for Marvel called Fear Itself, the Fearless, which was they wanted to do a mini-series after the Fear Itself event. And it started out, it was going to be a book that Chris Yost and we were going to write it together. But then as we started sort of spitballing that idea, there was going to be two tracks. One was going to feature Crossbones, the villain from Captain America, and one was going to feature, at one time it was Mystique, at one time it was Gambit, at one time it was, it went through a number of people before we finally settled on Valkyrie was going to be the lead of that track. It went through a lot of changes, and then Chris kind of broke off, and he wrote the Battle Scars series that we kind of co-plotted, and then I wrote the Fear Itself, the Fearless. About halfway through writing that, I sent the editors an email saying, hey, I have an idea for a team with Valkyrie as the leader, and it would be an all-female team, and I kind of, made my pitch for why it would make sense for it to be an all-female team in this case. And they jumped on it, and then it took several months for it to actually, it went through a lot of different editors, editorial teams changed, and it was not until after it was accepted and they said, okay, we need you to start scripting it, and they said, and by the way, we're going to call it Defenders. So I had never pitched it as Defenders, I just pitched it as, it had a number, and I think I called it Valkyrie and the Fearless at one time, and things like that. It went through a lot of different names, and then we settled on the Fearless Defenders.
Awesome.
Definitely like that, considering the Defenders, that name, the Defenders, definitely has a history in the Marvel Universe with Doctor Strange, and of course Valkyrie being a part of it, and of course the greatest character in the entire Marvel Universe, Howard the Duck, was a member of the Defenders at one point.
Well, and the Defenders is a team I've always, I always had an affinity for. I've always wanted to do something with those characters. I did a book during Fear Itself called Fear Itself, the Deep. And that book was originally titled Fear Itself, the Defenders, because it was Doctor Strange, Namor, Silver Surfer, and at the time it was not Hulk because he was tied up doing other things, but it was basically the Defenders team, and we had to they changed it midway through. We changed it to Fear Itself, the Deep, but it was always meant to be Fear Itself, the Defenders.
Well, I think a lot of people have said, you've probably heard this a lot, that within the Marvel Universe, Defenders probably was that, first of all, the covers grabbed you whenever you saw it on the shelf, because they definitely had the best covers out of any book in the Marvel Universe at the time.
Oh, yeah. The covers were great.
Covers were great, and what we loved, and Chief and I talked about this a lot, was all the characters that would come in and guest star in the book. Like, I loved seeing Hellcat again. I loved seeing Hellcat back in the book. somewhere I got her first.
Yeah, that issue when all the female heroes came, that was brilliant. I loved that. That was probably one of my top 2 favorites of the whole series.
We don't.
Okay, I got a question for you.
I'd always. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, just giving a book to all women, it's not totally done nowadays. Was it your idea, or?
Yeah, no, that was the pitch. That was my idea. I came in and said the original concept was that Valkyrie would have to choose a group of new Valkyries, and she would have to choose them from the women of the Marvel Universe or the women of Earth rather than the women of Asgard. And no, that was the pitch I sent in, and it's the first time for anything I've done with Marvel that it was my pitch that I sent to them rather than them coming to me with a title. Usually with what I do when they come and they say, we want you to do a Wolverine book, or we want you to do a book called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. But this was the first time I had sent them an idea. The first time I sent them an idea that they accepted was with this one. Yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations, because you're being nominated for a Glad Play Award. Congratulations.
Yeah, I found that out today, I guess. It was nominated for a GLAAD Award in comics, so that's kind of awesome.
Yep. Outstanding comic book.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a title to go back to the guest stars. If the book had made it, which we knew going into it, that the chances of it lasting 6 issues were slim, and the chances of it lasting 13 issues, which it did, were, it was almost impossible that it lasted that many issues. I had always intended, if it would keep going, I'd said that this was the book that every female character in the Marvel Universe would have ended up in this book at one time. At some point, it would have been every woman in the Marvel Universe would have appeared at some time during the run of this title. So it's particularly disappointing to me that I never got to do some of the things I wanted to with it.
You know why that's disappointing to me? If you said every female, that means Beverly Switzler could have made an appearance in Fearless Defenders, the girlfriend of Howard the Duck. Beverly Switzler could have made an appearance.
Beverly would have. It would have, and I would have asked Will to draw it as Leah Thompson from the movie.
That would be great.
So.
You just send Spin into a world.
You just killed Spin.
Good job. Well, Will loves 80s movies, so it would have been perfect for him to take that. We could have done an entire story arc that repaired the Howard the Duck movie continuity and worked it into the Marvel continuity.
Thank you. I hate that movie.
This is the kind of stuff that people not buying that book. This is how I'm punishing them. That story will never be told.
I bought all 13.
I bought every.
So did I.
Now,
I went out.
I
and
do
got
like
the
that
trade,
movie,
even though
by the way, though.
I did too. When I was a kid, I loved it.
It scared me.
These guys know. I have every issue of the 70s Howard the Duck run. I have the entire Max series. I have the entire Media Duck series. I have Man-Thing #1. I have Fear #19, first appearance. I am 95% done with every appearance of Howard the Duck ever. And now I get this heartbreaking news that I could have had Leah Thompson back as Beverly Switzler.
Sorry, that's what happens. You can blame the people out there that didn't buy that book. They should have pre-ordered.
They should have.
That's all I can say.
They should have.
Well, I will say we did get lucky because another one that Chief and I loved was we call it the boyfriend issue #9, which had Doctor Strange, Hercules, and Werewolf by Night. And that, for me, that was big because Chief and I are big Tomb of Dracula fans. We're big Werewolf by Night fans, so it was cool to see them back.
70s Marvel horror was great.
Well, what was funny was that when that issue came out, the week before when we were on the show, when we were talking about Asgard, we were doing an episode all about Asgard, and we had mentioned that we hadn't seen Hercules in a while, and then that issue came out the next week. And like, oh, there's Hercules drinking in a bar with Doctor Strange.
Like you do.
And that was an issue. I can't even remember how it came about, because I pitched it and was absolutely certain that it would get shot down immediately. And that's really how I think the story was changing, because we had just kind of gotten word down the pipe that the series probably wouldn't be going as long as we wanted it to. So I had to change some of the plans there in issues 7 through 12. And we'd always talked about we were going to do a longer arc that was sort of influenced heavily by Hong Kong action movies and anime and things like that, and that's why we've got that anime themed cover. And I wanted to fit something in there, so I said, well, let's do, and you guys may not know this show, but I said, let's do something like Ranma 1/2, where you just have all these characters come running in. And so that was really, I wanted it to be a Ranma 1/2 sort of story set in the Marvel Universe. And that's, and I gave him a list of, I said, look, we've got all these characters. We've got to do, I call them the League of Extraordinary Dude Bros. And we've got all these great characters we can throw in there. And they jumped on it. The only note I got was from executive editorial said, just don't make them seem too stupid. That they didn't want the male characters to seem too stupid in the book. But I was really pleasantly surprised. They let me do some of those stories that they did. Because there was that one, and there was another story that was that I pitched to them as inspired by the Step Up movies, and they jumped on that one too, which I didn't think they would.
I wanted to ask, when you're doing a tie-in to a big arc, like you did the Age of Ultron tie-in and an Infinity tie-in, like how does that? Does Bendis, do Bendis and Hickman approach you differently? Is it a different process with each of those guys who are writing like the main bulk of the arc, or how do you get involved doing a tie-in?
Yeah, it's different for every crossover and every event is a little different, but there's a master document that's sort of the Bible of the event, and they send that to me, and they basically said, do you want to do a tie-in to Age of Ultron, for instance? You want to do a tie-in? Here's the Bible. You can tell whatever kind of story you want to within that. So they sent me the pitch document. And I put together a pitch, and my pitch for that was a lot of questions, because there's a lot of things like are these settings appearing in any of the other issues that are out there? And it was just basically clearing the path to make sure I could tell that story without really getting in the way of what other creators were doing elsewhere in the tie-in. Same with Infinity, and my Infinity story didn't really. That was the dance issue. Was I just wanted to tell a story that was taking place during Infinity and had some tie-in to it, but was really its own thing.
That's what I kind of like about the tie-ins to that. They were kind of the heroes doing their own things, like even in Thunderbolts, it was like what was going on with them. While Infinity, that was one of the great things about those tie-ins that I loved.
Well, one of the things that I liked about the Age of Ultron tie-ins, because it was an alternate universe, and a lot of readers often kind of balk at alternate universe because they say that they're not important. And one of the guidelines for most of the tie-ins for Age of Ultron was to reveal something in the alternate universe that really was important to the main storyline, which is we reveal a couple of things about the villainess in the book. We reveal her parentage and things like that, just to keep it so that it was important to the main series.
Now, with Inhumanity,
Awesome.
with Inhumanity going on currently, you introduced a new Inhuman into Fearless Defenders. You introduced Ren. Now, with the series ended, will we be seeing more of her? Maybe in something else, because she really was a pretty interesting character when she came out and kind of jumped right into the fray.
Yeah, I hope so, but that's, she doesn't fit into anything that I'm working on right now. If I could figure a way to make her work in something I was working on just to keep her there, to keep her out there and keep her on the page, I would. But I haven't figured that angle out yet. I know Ellie Pyle, who was the editor of Fearless Defenders, has gone to other creators and said, "Hey, look at this character and let's try to keep her active." But I don't know. I don't know who's using her or if anyone's planning on using her or not. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
I'd say give her to Brian Wood. Give her to Brian Wood, because I really think her and Jubilee would be an awesome pairing. Her and Jubilee could be pretty cool together. I think they're both young kids. And, but like we said, absolutely love Fearless Defenders. We're gonna go on and start talking about. I don't know. I should just let Pedro just go crazy on this, because we're going to start talking about Deadpool here. Pedro made sure to get a.
Didn't I tell you? I'm not talking about Deadpool tonight. I'm sorry. No Deadpool.
Good night, everybody.
I have some Venom issues, so
Pedro's going to go hang himself now.
Well,
what time is it in Brazil, Pedro?
Yeah, Pedro, what time is it there?
Goodbye, cruel world.
2 a.m. 2 a.m. This Deadpool killing the Marvel Universe was my first English book that I bought it, and when I read it, I blew my mind. I love it. From the first page to the last one, and I'm very happy for this. Thank you for this.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
That was your first English book,
Pedro?
That was your first English book?
What? Yes, yes. The first.
That's pretty cool.
English that I bought it.
That's great.
Cool. The thing I want to ask is, when you came up with Deadpool Kills, you thought it as a trilogy, or you just came up with the killing the Marvel Universe?
Well, that was one that they called me and said, we want to do a mini-series called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. And they said, beyond that, we don't know what it is. What would you do with that title? And I don't think anybody expected it to be as successful as it was. And I just wanted to, I just went back and said, I want to tell a really dark but funny Deadpool story. And if we're going to have him, if it's going to be titled Kills the Marvel Universe, I want him to kill those characters brutally. And I don't think we didn't expect it to be as popular as it was. And then once the second or third issue was out and published, they called me and said, "Okay, now we need to do a sequel to Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe." And I said, "Well, I don't know what to do. I've already killed everybody." And we actually talked about a lot of different options. And at one time, it was the second one was going to be Deadpool Kills the Marvel Zombies.
Oh, nice.
And actually, I pitched something that I kind of loved. I don't know if I should tell anybody about it or not, but I don't care. I'll tell. I don't think I can get in trouble for it. But
no one listens to this podcast anyway.
By all means.
I had pitched originally that Deadpool would somehow time travel or time and dimensional travel into the middle of the first issue of Marvel Zombies. So the series that Kirkman wrote way back when. Mm-hmm. And from that point, he would change that entire storyline and erase everything that happened in Marvel Zombies and reinvent it.
Wow. That's crazy. That would be awesome.
He'd be so mad at you.
Yeah, so that was the original pitch, and we kind of moved forward on that for a little while. That was going to be it, and then we decided not to, and then it was going to be Deadpool kills the cosmic universe, and that changed, or the cosmic Marvel, and then finally they came back and said, what if we had Deadpool just killing a bunch of public domain characters, and that's really where Deadpool Illustrated came from. And then, you know, from that, when that did well, we decided to at least try one more to go back to that well one more time. And the only option we had at that point was for Deadpool to kill all the other Deadpools. But people
Which is genius.
like those Deadpool miniseries.
We would like this time a moment of silence for Dogpool. We'd like a moment of silence for Dogpool.
Yeah, Dogpool was a sad moment.
Yeah, I
Dogpool
grew
was
up.
rough for everybody.
I'm going to say,
I'm
when you did
getting over it
Illustrated,
slowly.
I went through, and when I read Illustrated, you systematically killed my entire childhood. I read all those books.
Yeah. That was my way of getting back at all my English teachers, and
Take that.
Go ahead, Jules.
I thought it was funny because I'm very new to Deadpool. I've actually, this is the first thing I've read. So I go because I'm like, I want to read Illustrated. So I go to get it, and it's sold out everywhere. I go to get Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. It's sold out everywhere. I'm like, I can't even buy this book. So I ended up getting this and reading it, and as I was reading it, because I didn't realize it was a trilogy, I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm lost. So I asked these guys, and they explained it to me, and I was like, oh, that makes sense now, because they all make sense. First he kills the Marvel Universe, and then it's Illustrated, and then he kills Deadpool. So I was like,
Pedro sent her a dissertation.
Sold out.
Pedro sent her a dissertation on why Deadpool was killing everybody.
Yeah,
because
it was awesome.
I needed an explanation as to why Deadpool was killing everything, and Pedro was like on it, and I was like, thank you, now it makes sense. So I
It's
gotta
his
get the other
raison
one.
I could have used that while I was working on it. You should have said that.
She's not kidding. I went the other day just to inquire about the trades at my shop here, and they said they're constantly sold out. People come in and ask for them all the time, and they just had to order more.
The shop where I got this, I asked him if he had Deadpool Kills the Universe, and he said around Christmas time, I sold like 50 trades of Deadpool. I was like, so that's where they all went. People must have been buying them for
Giving
Christmas.
the gift of Deadpool killing
yeah.
child.
It's so popular.
I'll take it.
I just resorted to Comixology.
What I really loved
about
go ahead, Pedro. Go ahead.
The Deadpool. I love it that in the Deadpool Kills Deadpool, you got I don't know if you guys pitch this up with everyone. The editors and the colorists and all guys are like the background in the TV screen.
Oh yeah.
And I love this.
Oh, that's awesome.
How you guys come up with that?
That was all the artist on that one. I never wrote, I want my picture on the Jumbotron, or I want the colorist picture on the Jumbotron. But Salvador he just loves to add pictures of people into the backgrounds. So yeah, that's our editor right there. He's talking about ukuleles.
That's so cool.
Because our editor Jordan White loves to play ukuleles, and
Where are you, Cullen?
so that was.
Let me
Hold on, let Pedro find it. Pedro probably has it with a little tab on it of where Cullen's picture is in the book.
I don't know where
He showed it a little while ago.
Deadpool.
And that'll give me time because the two things I really.
Oh yeah, that's a really old picture of me with a really bad mustache. I'm so happy that I'm so happy he picked that one out for me.
Always try to go for those memorable moments.
What I really loved first in Illustrated, I did love Sherlock Holmes bringing his team in. That was Sherlock Holmes, who was the foil for Deadpool. I absolutely love that because I grew up with Sherlock Holmes. I own the entire works. And then in Deadpool Kills Deadpool, because she couldn't be on, and she will kill me if I don't talk about it, our co-host, Rainbow Red Panda, of course, Rainbow Red Panda by her name, her favorite character was Panda Pool. She has a drawing of Panda Pool that she got for Christmas. She actually has a drawing of Panda Pool that she got for Christmas. So the first question is, how did you come up with Panda Pool? Because when she saw it, she was texting me and flipping out. She's like, oh my God, it's Panda Pool!
I can't take 100% credit for Panda Pool because Mike Del Mundo, who did the covers, drew a Panda Pool on one of the covers. And I said, well, if we're going to have it on the cover, then we have to have a character in the book who is Panda Pool. And then, then I came up with the whole idea he's the species that endangers you and things like that. And he quickly became everybody's favorite character. Everybody loves Panda Pool. To the point that, again, I did pitch, because of course it's Deadpool Kills Deadpool and they all have to die in the book. I did pitch a follow-up series called Panda Pool in Hell, which was going to be Panda Pool fighting his way back to the land of the living, but no one has taken me up on it yet.
I would totally buy that in a second.
Yeah.
If I saw that announced, I would put that on my sub list.
I would love to see, Panda Pool fighting all the dead characters or interacting with all the characters who have died. Although I don't know how many there really are anymore.
I will tell you this.
Who are still dead.
I'll tell you this.
They all come back eventually.
I'll tell you this. Panda will kickstart that. Panda will do a Kickstarter. She will raise as much money as the editors want to make that happen. Panda will make that happen. Just like me, I will do anything. Because we were talking, and I've asked this question. Like I said earlier, I am collecting every appearance of Howard the Duck. We were talking, should I put that issue of Deadpool Kills Deadpool in? Does Deadpool the Duck count as a Howard homage, as an appearance of Howard? Because I love Deadpool the Duck. I was like, oh my God.
Well, Deadpool the Duck is Howard. If there were a Marvel Universe entry on Deadpool the Duck, it would be about how in this universe Howard was introduced into the Weapon X program, I think. And so it was always intended that that Howard and Deadpool the Duck were the same person, were the same character.
There you go. I told you, Finn.
In my mind, he's an official Howard appearance.
I will do.
I told him
Fu. He uses Quack Fu against Deadpool. So
I will do whatever needs to be done. I will wash Casada's car. I don't care what I have to do to get that mini series of Deadpool the Duck in the Weapon X program. I will do whatever it takes. I don't care. Because the greatest character of all time is not being utilized. The last time, other than Deadpool Kills Deadpool, the last time Howard was seen was in Wolverine and the X-Men number 16, the dupe issue. That was the last time he was seen, and they need to bring him back. I've actually written a story about how they could bring him back, and it would be funny as heck, but I'm just a guy on a podcast. So
and you're missing a golden opportunity, because Spin will literally do anything you want him to do if you write that story.
I do not care.
Well, I'd love to write it. Writing it is the fun part. It's getting it approved and getting the powers that be to greenlight it would be the the challenge, and getting readers to buy it. Although who knows. I've been surprised before by what they'll buy.
Hey, they never thought Howard would have been. They never thought he was going to be as popular as he was back in the 70s. So I think it's time to bring him back. Let's do it the next presidential election.
During one issue, Spin will be your manservant for life.
Oh, I will. But I say they should bring him back and make him run for president again. We need Howard to run for president again. That's what we need. Let me pull my agenda back up here. Go ahead, Pedro.
One question I want to make is that there is the first issue of Marvel Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. We have a lot of different characters, heroes and villains. How did you came up with the death of each character? Because we have so much death. Sorry, my English is not very good. We have
so much death. That's.
I love it.
It was.
X-23 was very. I don't know how to say, but I love the way you kill it, Dakin and X-23.
Yeah, that one was one I was exceptionally proud of that death. I don't know. It was just, I sat there and thought about these characters, and I wanted to, it would have been too easy for me to, and it wouldn't have been very satisfying if Deadpool had just gone out and, hacked all these people up with his swords. So I had to think of different ways that, the reason the Avengers get killed the way they do is because I thought they spent so much time drinking coffee and eating around that table. It would be fun to see them die that way. And the X-23 and the X-23 death, I was kind of, playing off the whole, how would Arcade kill them if Deadpool was forcing Arcade to really be murderous? And then, of course, Dennis Hopeless just rips me off and says, I'll just make Arcade murderous for real.
Oh, yeah, in Avengers Arena.
In Avengers Arena. I take complete credit for Dennis Hopeless's his ideas. But no, it was just me trying to think of what would be how would some of these characters, how would killing these characters be interesting every time, because 4 issues doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot when it's just constant death.
Killing
so much death.
Did you ever have to go out and research ways to kill a human being?
No. Oh, for comics, you mean? Outside.
I don't know for personal life, but yes, hopefully for comics.
No, I did not.
There might be some bodies in his backyard.
I don't think I did any extensive research on ways to kill a human being. I think most writers, if you were to look at their browsing history, the FBI would flag you anyway because they're always looking up all these bizarre things. But I didn't look up ways to kill people any more than usual. How's that sound?
Well, of course. Well, now there's so many dead people because now you're doing Night of the Living Deadpool, the zombie story.
Yes.
So how does this is not part of the Kilogy. This is something completely brand new. So how did this one? How did this one come up?
Its own.
How did this one come to fruition?
I think Marvel wanted to. We knew we wanted to follow Deadpool Kills Deadpool, and I think Marvel is working with George Romero right now on his comic, and I think they wanted to just have something that could kind of complement that and be a companion piece to that. And Night of the Living Deadpool is just such a perfect title. So again, it was a situation where they called me and said, what would you do with a book called Night of the Living Deadpool? And this is the book that this is what came from that.
Like I was saying before,
I love it.
Chief's right on it. Chief's our zombie expert.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
so you guys don't spoil me.
No, I won't tell you. I won't tell anybody. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but
we won't spoil it.
There's zombies in it.
I part my books.
Pedro,
I hope that doesn't ruin it for you.
Books and take some 2 months to get here.
Oh.
But I love that I don't think it spoils anything, but the beginning that he wakes up sort of like almost like The Walking Dead or 28 Days Later, but it's from eating too many tacos. that was a highlight for me. I laughed really hard at that.
Well, I love zombie stories. I've liked zombie stories since I was a very young man. So so this book definitely gives me the chance to kind of poke fun at some of the tropes, the waking up from a coma, which has been done in, Walking Dead and 28 Days Later and in numerous other, stories. So it was kind of perfect. A food coma seemed perfect for Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's great.
I just love the way you write Deadpool. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Pedro hates zombie stories. Pedro does not like zombie stuff at all, but he's gonna love it. I know he will.
You're gonna like this.
I know one thing that I really liked.
Actually, I bought his issues already. I gotta send them to Brazil.
Go ahead, Jules.
I really like that.
Sorry, Jules.
I don't think this really spoils it, but
Pedro,
I like, especially in the first issue, that the zombies actually talk, and usually in zombie shows and comics, they don't talk. They kind of just murmur, or it's incoherent what they're trying to say, but you can actually understand what they're saying. Yeah, there it is. You can actually understand what they're saying. So that, to me, that added a lot of depth to the zombies, whereas usually when I read something about zombies, I'm like, I don't care about them, but I was like, I actually like these zombies. They're really cool. Like, they're talking, and I kind of feel bad for them.
Well, I wanted them to kind of be a little sad and a little creepy, because it's not even, they're not talking as in saying, brains and send more cops. They're actually sort of almost trapped in this dead body, and as their brains are deteriorating, they still have some memory and thought, and I thought it would add some sort of a creep factor to the story, and we play on that a lot in the third and fourth issues. That element really becomes important to the story.
I was going to say there are some really creepy moments.
What I really love. Sorry.
It's a little bit of a delay there.
Go on. What I really loved was in issue 2. We talked about it before the show. First of all, I love the homages to the different zombie movies, because you had one for Dawn of the Dead. I'm saying there were 2 for Walking Dead, because there was a farmhouse and the jail and the prison. So I'm thinking Herschel's farm and the prison. What I loved was...
That's fair, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, and just Deadpool's upbeat attitude. I love it when he gets the El Camino and he's talking about he's going to pimp out an El Camino. And I'm not, Pedro, cover your ears. I don't think I'm going to spoil too much for you. Cover your ears, son.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, you don't want to spoil it for the audience either, so you might have to do some editing.
It doesn't work.
I'll tell the audience. Go read my review then. Go read my review, because I think I picked up on something. I think it's foreshadowing. Go read the review on FTN. There you go. I'll shut up now.
Well, now I got to go read it. Let me make a note. I want to see.
Please do. I want to know if I'm right. Because these guys will tell you, when I'm reading the comic, I see the minor details, and I'm thinking, okay, how is this going to affect the next issue? So I think I saw something. I think it's something. I can't say anymore, because Pedro will literally fly up here and kill me.
Kill you.
That sounds like a level of thought that I don't put into much of my work.
Please. You're reading way too much into this, man.
Now I really have to go read this review.
Oh.
I haven't read that. I want to see that. I didn't even know you put those up this week.
I sent them in. I don't know, because Panda did number 1 and I did number 2. We didn't want number 2 to go up before number 1 goes up. So, because she got busy last week.
Yeah.
Now,
I'll check it out too.
Now, moving on, you've got a couple new books that are on its way. You've got Magneto that's coming out for Marvel, and now if we picking up, I guess, where the last issue of Uncanny X-Men left off with Magneto will lead into your series.
Yes. It'll be Magneto's. I mean, he's had solo miniseries in the past, I guess, but this will be his solo book, and it's definitely sort of Magneto, even though he's been depowered. He still has some power, but he's nowhere near the mutant he once was. he's going out on this one-man mission to stop or punish crimes against mutant kind with extreme prejudice, and it's a very dark take on Magneto. I mean, I started scripting mine before I saw the recent Bendis issue. It's a darker take than that approach. It's the same kind of storyline. Magneto out on his own doing his own thing, but it's a very dark Magneto story, and extremely violent Magneto story.
Good.
That's awesome. Like, I love Thanos Rising, and that was so dark, and a dark Magneto sounds perfect for me.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this
I'll definitely be reading.
It's a horror story. It's a horror story in a lot of ways. I draw a lot of those elements into it, but it's still Magneto, and the thing I like about him now, and a lot of people are already clamoring for two things. They want him to regain his full power, and they want him to grow his hair back. Those seem to be the most important things in the universe to Magneto fans.
I don't know. Me and Chief, I think
the thing I like about Magneto.
I was going to say, I think to me and Chief, we want him to capture Black Bolt and put him in a brain ape again.
Yeah. The psychic brain ape.
I like that him being depowered. It means he has to be even more ruthless, and he has to be more efficient. He can't take down bridges or pull buildings down with a wave of his hand. But to get what he wants, he's kind of relying on this level of cruelty that he's having to access, and it kind of is turning him into. One of the things I've always liked about Magneto is he's never really sees that he is turning himself into the things he's always hated. I mean, he's fighting to protect mutants, but he's such a terror for non-mutants, and he doesn't necessarily even see that. And I've always liked that element of the character, and it's something that we'll see a lot of with this series.
So basically going back to
to take some flashback of Magneto's story, or you're just gonna be the head Magneto, the merciless Magneto?
Well, we'll definitely be seeing. Every issue will kind of have a different approach. But there's definitely some flashbacks into Magneto's backstory. The second issue, in particular, has a pretty significant story about Magneto's childhood that ties into the present day story. So I'm going to be trying to explore a lot of different aspects of Magneto. Sometimes we'll have flashbacks, sometimes we won't. But in the second issue, at least, and it's top of mind because I just did finish revisions to the script. There's a lot of Magneto's childhood starts playing into it.
Awesome.
How much mystique are we going to see with Magneto?
How did I know you were going to ask that?
Hey, got to ask about my girl. So.
She is not going to show up immediately. At least initially, I want it to be Magneto without a lot of guest stars from the rest of the X universe. Although I kind of think she'd be a great choice to come into the story, and it's something you don't really think about. And I've been reading X-Men since I was a kid. Those two characters really don't interact in the comics that often. Their interaction was in the movies is where they kind of became this. But I think they're kind of perfect for, they make sort of a perfect foils for each other.
I'll tell you what, my license plate frame says to-do list, number 1, defeat Magneto. And my license plate says Mystique. And anyone who actually gets that understands that even though they were a part of the Brotherhood, in the Mutant Brotherhood, still are on separate issues. And you talk about Magneto becoming the thing he hates the most, becoming this terrorist, this tyrant, even though they're both still fighting for, mutant independence, they're still doing it in two separate ways. So she could still be his torment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things that we'll definitely be touching on in the series is just because Magneto is sort of it's just because Magneto is standing up against threats to mutant kind, that doesn't mean he's just going up against non-mutants. In his mind, there are mutant threats to mutant kind as well, and that'll be something he'll be dealing with. And I think from the Bendis issue, he already, they've already kind of drawn a line in the sand between Mystique's camp and Magneto's camp. So yeah, given enough time, and I definitely want to explore some of those stories.
Update, Megan, you will be getting Mystique and Amazing X-Men coming out in April, I believe. She's going to be taking on her son, Nightcrawler, your son, Nightcrawler. Not your new son. Not your new son that was in Battle of the Atom. Your old son. Your old son, not your new son.
I still got to see that, man. I got to read that. Anyways.
Now you're also got another book coming out from Marvel. Deadpool versus Carnage.
Oh yeah. What else do I have from?
Yeah, you just did the Superior Carnage annual, correct?
Yeah, which does serve as a bridge between the Superior Carnage series that just finished up last month or a couple months. Mm-hmm. This will serve as a good bridge between that series and Deadpool versus Carnage. It shows that it comes out next week. I think the 5th, it'll take Carnage from where he was at the end of the Superior Carnage miniseries to where he will be at the beginning of Deadpool versus Carnage.
I can't wait for that, by the way. I'm dying.
Yeah,
it'll be a clash of the 90s maniacs.
Yeah, because Superior Carnage,
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I love the Superior Carnage series. I absolutely loved that series and how it kind of went. And Chief and I always talk because we're big fans of Doc Ock Spider-Man. We love Doc Ock Spider-Man. We're kind of a little. I don't know. I wish he was going to stay around longer. I wish there wasn't a movie coming out because we'd probably still have Doc Ock for a little while longer if there was no movie coming out. We just love how it seems like every writer who writes him knows, like they know how to write Doc Ock as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I love that
he's. That series has been.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that series was. I still say that will, Dan will go down go down as one of the greatest Spider-Man writers of all time, I believe. But a big part of that is because of what he did with the Superior Spider-Man story. I just think he's such a cool guy to talk to because he's got these big ideas and he doesn't think for the short game. He really plans things out for a long, long game and has, he's, years ago had this storyline in mind and what he, how he would take it and what steps he was going to take in telling it. Yeah, when I took over Venom, we sat down. We were at a convention, and our editors, one of the editors, took Dan and I out for dinner, and he said, "Okay, Dan, tell Cullen what you have planned for Spider-Man." And he went through this whole thing for the Doc Ock story, and then they said, "Okay, Cullen, now tell Dan what you have planned for Venom." And I was like, I got, he fights the UFOs next issue. It was so humiliating to me because Dan had this massive, sprawling, epic story that he had in mind for Spider-Man.
I'm going to flip the whole Spider-Verse on its head.
Yeah. What are you going to do? I have a 3-issue storyline I'd like to tell.
No, I do love the Spirit. I agree. I do think that Slott will go down as one of the greatest writers of Spider-Man ever, because that is such a brilliant twist on it, being Spider-Man fighting crime from a villain's point of view, from a villain's mind, and I just love it.
I have not missed Peter Parker. I'll put that out there. I haven't missed Peter. Because I love Doc Ock. I love everything Doc Ock does.
Yeah, I do. I go through times. I go through the sad
I
times.
still gotta read it, and I hate most of the good guys in all of the Marvel Universe anyway, so I'm down for it.
I won't say I don't miss Peter Parker, but I think missing him is part of what makes me like this story. So.
Now,
Agreed.
you also got over on DC now. Bye Marvel, let's go DC. You got Sinestro coming out. So with DC, we always say DC cancels quite a few books, but then they bring in another book, and this time it's not a Batman book, it's another Lantern book that they're bringing in. So you're going to be writing Sinestro, who we really haven't seen since the end of Wrath of the First Lantern. I guess we're seeing him now in Forever Evil, but I'm not touching that again. We've talked about Forever Evil in the past, and oh boy.
It's a character that kind of parallels Magneto a little bit himself, too. He's another guy who thinks he's doing right by his people and his ideals, and
he did just see his whole
is kind of ruthless at the same time.
He did just see his whole planet destroyed in the Wrath of the First Lantern, because the First Lantern did destroy his home planet. And then, of course, he disappeared. And they've been looking for him. I know Hal's been looking for him.
Yeah, and that's it's interesting. You bring up the connection between or the similarities between Magneto and Sinestro, and that's really one of the challenges of doing these two books. Is I want to make sure they're very different in tone. They're both very dark books in their own way. I'm not shying away from the fact that these guys are villains. They're anti-heroes, but really they're both villains. And I know a lot of readers really want these characters to show their heroic colors. To the point that I've even had some people ask me for Carnage, please don't paint Carnage as a villain. Which is kind of...
That's the fun of Carnage.
It's hard. I'm like, you do know he's a mass murderer. It's hard not to paint Carnage as a villain. Yeah.
Right.
So with both of these series, with Magneto and Sinestro, I want these characters to be people that you can kind of, you have moments where you want to root for them, where you want to see them succeed, because in their hearts they're doing something noble. Their methods, though, kind of, it gets into that moral gray area where some people are going to say, yeah, he's a hero, and some people are going to say, look at that, he is these are terrible characters. And those are the kind of characters I like working with anyway. But yeah, it was the tone of those two series, I wanted to make sure they're different. So with Magneto, it's much more of a grounded solo story, and with Sinestro, it's he's from a power set and from a setting, he's it's cosmic, and he's got this massive power, and I also wanted to bring in a lot of intrigue and sort of court, intrigue of court with the Sinestro Corps, and bring that into the story in a big way. So I just wanted to make sure I'm using those elements to set those two stories apart. And Sinestro's vanished, and that's really where we'll pick up, is where has he been, and what could be so important to bring him back out of the out of his self-imposed exile.
Right, he split at the end of Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, right? He took off.
Yeah, he took off because
I don't know where he went.
Because that's where they got the great line where Johns kind of ended that the decades-long kind of grudge between Sinestro and Hal Jordan, where Sinestro looked at Hal and said, "That's the thing, Hal. You've always been my friend." Talking to Hal, because Hal Jordan asked Sinestro, "Were we ever friends?" And Sinestro said, "You've always been my friend." And then he disappeared. And right now, especially with the Relic series, when they were doing the Lights Out saga, with the draining of the emotional the spectrum, they had all of the avatars of the spectrum, like the Butcher and all of them were there, but they did not have Phalanx because Sinestro is gone. They didn't have Phalanx, and now with Hal kind of saying, he's going to regulate ring users and light users, he's been looking for Sinestro because he feels Sinestro, he needs to find him because he's using the yellow light. I know a lot more about Green Lantern than I thought I did.
Yeah.
Whew.
It just started rattling out. And it just came pouring out. You couldn't stop
I'm
it.
excited for Red Daughter of Krypton. I am dying for the Red Daughter of Krypton series when it comes out, where Supergirl gets a Red Lantern ring. I am yes, give Supergirl a Red Lantern ring.
That'd be great.
Give it to her. Oh. Now,
it'll be I'm really excited about Sinestro. I think it's going to be a fun story, and I think people will really like it. The artwork on it is absolutely amazing. So.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. When I heard it was a solo Sinestro story, I was all for that. I love the character. Always have.
Now, Panda, since she couldn't be on, she did want to know, with Helheim, is there going to be anything more we're going to be able to see from Helheim? Is there anything in the future for that series?
Yes, Joelle and I are working on the second series right now. She's finished art on the first issue. She's starting on the second issue. It's called Brides of Helheim, and it picks up from the story of Helheim probably 5 to 10 years after the previous story.
Okay.
And it's I think we've upped the ante in terms of all the things that people liked about Helheim. I think this one will have more of that. And Joelle, I don't know how she got better, because I thought she was fantastic on the first series, but she's actually gotten better with this second series. So I can't wait for people to see this. And I think in the fall, Brides of Helheim will be coming out, the first issue, probably around the time of New York Comic-Con.
That would make sense.
There you go,
Awesome.
Jules. That's your neck of the woods.
Yeah, Panda's gonna freak.
Yeah, Panda is gonna. Panda's our indie queen, so she really wanted to see if there was going to be another series. And then, of course, we are remiss we don't talk about the Sixth Gun. If people would come out of the
remiss if you don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, we are. The pitchforks and the torches will start coming. But talking about the Sixth Gun, you started 2010 was when this book first came out, so it's been going on for quite a few years now, correct?
Yeah, our 38th issue comes out in 2 or 3 weeks. So I think 2 weeks.
Awesome. That's a run.
That is a good run.
Yeah. Our 38th issue. We've been going pretty strong on it. Where it's a book we really love. That Brian Hurt and I, we really love the book. It's something that we never thought we would be able to go this far on. We knew we had this much story to tell. We weren't sure if the readers would be there for this kind of book. But the support on it's been amazing, and we couldn't be more proud of how this book has shaped up so far. And we're coming up, our 38th issue's coming out. We've always said the series will end with issue 50. So when our 50th issue, that will be our final issue of the Sixth Gun. So we know we're kind of barreling towards that end point.
Now, it also, I read that
sadly,
that twice it's been tried to be made into a live-action adaptation. I think I read that Sci-Fi tried to make it into a miniseries, and then there was a pilot that they tried I don't know if it was ABC or NBC tried to do for it.
NBC, yeah.
Okay.
There has been interest in it for a long while. There was talk at one time of feature films early on, and then Sci-Fi Channel was developing it, and then NBC was developing it and actually shot the pilot for it last year, but they decided not to go to series on it. So.
Well, never say never because we're bringing them. Never say never because they're bringing Constantine and Gotham, so
Yeah, that's true.
that'll open up for other comics.
I think the book has some life still outside of comics, but I'm not that obsessed over it. It was tough last year when we were in the middle of they were sending us the auditions, so we got to see all these actors auditioning for the show, and then we went to the set and it was tough not to think about it. And it seemed like such a sure thing, which should have tipped me off that it was not going to happen. But when it didn't happen, there was obviously the moment of disappointment, but in the end, we've got this book that, like I said, it's we have 6 trades on the shelf right now of Six Gun, and that's we will always have the book, and we'll always be able to do what we tell the story we want to tell in that, and yeah, since that time I haven't been too obsessed with finding out what's the activity, what activity's going on with it. I've kind of just let the people that handle that, and I just kind of work on the comic and worry about that right now.
Okay. Batman, Superman, Six Gun, 2016. Batman, Superman, Six Gun.
They keep putting people in that movie.
Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and maybe Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage in the lead role, maybe. Nicolas Cage. Okay, Uni.
That's your Nicolas Cage impersonation?
That's my Nicolas Cage impersonation. I've been doing this thing. I'm actually going out to we have friends who are doing a movie. I'm actually trying to do voice acting in it. So I was trying to get my Nicolas Cage down. I got my Paul Lynde down last week. I got my Paul Lynde, and I had Chief dying for like an hour with Paul Lynde.
I was making him read comics as Paul Lynde.
Yeah, I was reading.
And describe the panels
I
as
have
Paul
one on
Lynde.
YouTube. I have Paul Lynde reads Harley Quinn #2 up on YouTube. So I got to do another one. I'm going to do Paul Lynde reads Sex Criminals.
I could listen to it all day.
I'm going to do Paul Lynde reads Sex Criminals. Because that will be funny.
That's what I want to. I want to hear that one.
Chief, it's going to be funny. I'm going to read Sex Criminals, and it's just going to be great. Uncle Arthur's reading it. It's funny. Oh, God.
See, now that's better.
Yeah, I'm still working on the K.
I can listen to Paul Lynde all day.
I'm still working on the K.
I want him to do the show like that one whole night.
I will. One day I will do. When we don't have a guest on, I will do the whole show as Paul Lynde. Uni, you had a couple of viewer questions, didn't you? You had a couple of viewer questions.
Me?
Yes, you. Pretty little villainous.
Me? So, actually one got answered inadvertently about, Magneto. I have a huge nerd friend that's been following Cyclops since day one and was like, well, now that, Magneto had followed around Cyclops through everything, you think that's changed his outlook? And I texted her, no. So, that kind of got answered on its own, and she's doing moping right now.
If anything, his outlook may have he may be worse. He may be a little more disenchanted, so.
So I sat there and I'm like, you should read the series. It's going to be really dark. So there is that.
It is. It's going to be dark. But if she does,
I love that. The darker the better.
Light.
We also got asked your thoughts on Deadpool's wedding.
It was only a matter of time. Everyone needs to find love, right? It sounds like an interesting story. I just saw that that they revealed who he's getting married to and things like that. So I think what I like about it is, and this is what I think speaks to the strength of Deadpool as a character, because he could so easily be this joke character that's these one-off jokes, and one issue doesn't matter when you go to the next one. What I like about what they're doing with the wedding, though, is it seems that it's really going to shape the story from that day forward, and there's going to be, ramifications from that. And I like that element of it.
Are you gonna write some story?
I'm not writing anything. Yeah, there's a few writers coming in and doing stuff for the wedding issue, but I guess they figured I had more than my fair share of Deadpool for right now with 9 Deadpool and Deadpool.
Quit hogging all the Deadpool.
I know, I'm bogarting that Deadpool.
I'm still mad.
I said Deadpool over here, man.
I'm still mad. I went through that whole wedding picture. Man-Thing gets invited to Deadpool's wedding, but Howard the Duck does not. They invite Man-Thing, but not Howard.
Mystique is not in there
Fin Fang
either.
Foom is there, too.
No,
and like,
How do you know Mystique's not there?
That's what we told her. How do you know Mystique's not there?
Exactly.
Anybody.
Could be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on.
She could be anybody.
Shifter.
She could be Cap.
But I had
She could be right there by the groom.
She could be Fin Fang Foom. Mystique could be Fin Fang
She could
Foom.
be.
that asked this is obsessed with Squirrel Girl and had to point out that she's in the wedding picture too. So it's
Squirrel Girl is a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
I love
noticed
Squirrel
that.
Girl.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I have
That's
one
probably
question.
Mystique.
Go ahead, Pedro.
about
that's probably
Not really her.
that I forgot.
Go ahead, Pedro.
How Deadpool kills the team.
Yeah.
How you died by Deadpool's hand. Because you didn't show us.
I like to imagine that I escaped. That was Mystique.
He's still looking for you.
Not.
This would have been, if we could have set this up to have that guy in a Deadpool costume sneak up behind you and just off you at the end of this interview, it would have been the greatest ending. It would have brought continuity to the comic book.
I love it. He's like, wait a minute.
I would have cheered.
Hey, Pedro, your mask is inside out.
Well, not just us. We would have set it up with you. We wouldn't just send a home invader to your house.
No, we
dressed
didn't
as
do that.
all
Deadpool.
in on it, but not me.
Yeah, we didn't tell you. We thought it'd be
Awesome.
better as a surprise.
All right. Well,
I've
we have.
never wet my pants on a panel discussion before, but I guess I would. I don't know how I died. I'm sure I threw
I'm
up a
sorry,
heck of a
it's
fight
a weird
against Deadpool.
question.
I love this.
No, it's fine.
Pedro, you were
I like
acting.
thinking about how I die.
Pedro, you're acting the same way. You were acting the same way I was when Tracy Yardley was on with us. You were acting the same way I did when Tracy Yardley was on with us, when I was geeking out and fanboying because I had the artist for Sonic the Hedgehog on. I was like, oh my god!
It's 3 in the morning.
It's interesting because I also died in the first issue of the new Deadpool series. I also get killed in that first issue. Yeah, so I've been killed by Deadpool in Deadpool comics twice. So once by my own hand and once in the new series. So
Got to be some kind of record.
Well,
I know.
Most times killed by Deadpool.
Yeah, I've signed a lot of those issues. Number one, people like to get the issue where I die signed.
Those creeps.
well,
What are they thinking?
it has come to the time of the show where we have to ask some bomb questions. Jules, the mastermind of the some days you just can't get rid of a bomb question. Jules, do you have the questions in front of you? I do. I'm just asking if you do.
I do.
All right, Jules. Who else has them sitting in front of them? Does anybody else have them sitting in front of them?
Not right in front of me, but I kind of remember what they are, just out of my
Jules,
head.
you ask the first one. I'll ask the other two. Go ahead and ask the first question. We're all answering these, by the way, people. Everyone has to answer these. But guests always go
Okay.
first. Guests
So-
always go first.
Yes. First one's kind of funny and fun. So if Deadpool cooked you breakfast, what would he make you?
Oh, that's an easy one, though. He'd make a breakfast chimichanga.
I didn't
That's
think
the
you were
only
gonna say
answer.
that.
All other answers don't matter.
That's true.
They're
They're all
lies.
void.
There is taco and pancakes.
Just like pancakes. Okay. All right.
All right, Chief, what would he make you?
See, I would have said chimichangas too, but I thought it would be too easy. So I was thinking like Deadpool wouldn't go through the trouble to cook you anything. I think he would just like cut open a vending machine and like bring you like a handful of like mashed up Twinkies or something. But that would be my answer.
Uni?
I actually went with the pancakes, thousands of them, due to playing the Deadpool game earlier today. So,
Megan?
I don't know why, but Spam and eggs.
We're learning more about you every episode. Jules?
It says more, not me. Deadpool.
Jules?
I think that he would make me donuts because I love them. So
Oh, see, y'all can't beat me. I thought about this.
Well, all of our answers are negated because
Well, they're negated. But he
breakfast
would,
chimichanga, that was
but
the
he would
one and only answer.
Yeah.
That's
See,
right.
So no.
For me, Deadpool would pour me a big bowl of Deadpoolios, the chimichanga flavored cereal. It's a balanced part of the day's breakfast.
I can see that. I can see that too. That could happen.
All right. So the next question.
What are you smoking, man?
I don't know. I don't do none of that stuff. Actually, I don't. I was in the Marines. I don't do that stuff. You know that. All right.
I know.
Next question. If you woke up as a Lego minifigure, what would you build first?
You know, have you ever seen the movie Heathers?
Yes.
And Winona Ryder asks Christian Slater a question. She says, this is going to be a stupid question. And then he says, there are no stupid questions. And then she asks, and he says, this is the stupidest question I've ever heard. That's how I feel right this moment.
Jules came up with it. I blame Jules.
I did come up with it because we're like obsessed with the Lego movie over here, and so I'm like, oh, let me think of a good question. So.
So if I were to wake up as a minifigure, I would build a life-size Lego version of myself, which I would use to cosplay as Pedro, cosplaying as Deadpool to attend conventions.
I love it.
That works.
Best answer ever.
ingenious.
I love it.
Ingenious.
Megan, what is your answer?
How can you follow that?
You can't. But you have to.
You can't.
My brain's been blown.
There's too much Pedro in the answer.
There was too much Pedro in that answer. I would build a Firefly class ship and name it Serenity.
Can you guess what book Megan picked up this week off the comic book stand?
No clue.
All right, Jules.
I'm sure that everybody can guess what I would build. I would build a TARDIS so that I could get out of that world and go to my own world.
I was either going to
And
say
if
that
Got
or
there would still
Superman.
be
I would
Lego.
build a TARDIS.
I was either going to say that or
I love a
Superman.
TARDIS.
Uni.
I thought of Superman. I was like, oh, I would love to have a Lego Superman or a Lego Batman because they're so adorable. But no, a TARDIS.
Uni.
Or Lego Doctor Who.
Mine's not that creative. Mine's a money tree because I'm a cosplayer and very poor.
All right.
I think everybody could agree a money tree would be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be.
Money tree or juicy fruit tree, either one of those would be awesome. But
Make a little like combo there.
Pedro.
man.
Pedro.
I will build Cullen, then he writes me as cosplaying him. So we can.
It's kind of the opposite.
Day long.
I build a Cullen.
As long as
I should have built it.
make sure you say right. You would build Cullen Bunn, not a Cullen, because I don't want anybody thinking you're going to build something from that Twilight stuff. No sparkly vampires allowed on my show. No sparkly vampires.
Yeah.
It's moments like this that I wish I had built a Lego Cullen and put him here for this interview. And
Chief.
Ouch.
My answer is not as creative because even if I was a Lego person, I would still essentially be me, and I absolutely suck at engineering. So what you would get is just a big pile of multicolored bricks stuck together in some haphazard fashion, and then I would probably give up and try to find some Lego Twinkies.
Very good. All right. Very good. Moving on. Oh, wait, do I have to go?
Yeah, you have the last one.
Yeah.
Simple, Russell Crowe.
You'd build a Russell Crowe.
I would build Russell Crowe.
That's right.
You don't need anything else. I just need... Come on.
Looks to fighting around the world.
He's fighting around the
That
world.
brings up so many questions.
Fighting around. Come on. Russell Crowe, he's the father of Superman, and he chased after Wolverine, who was looking after Catwoman's baby. If you ever saw Les Mis, that was the plot to Les Mis. Jor-El was chasing Wolverine because he had Catwoman. All right. Last question is: if you could put any Marvel character in a DC book, who would it be, and in what book?
oh, that's a tough question. And I don't want to say Deadpool because I want to steal Pedro's answer. I can't say Howard the Duck because I steal. So you know, maybe I would go with something like you know, it would be kind of awesome for, you know, Man Thing and Swamp Thing to interact maybe and do something like that. So I'll go with Man Thing.
Chief, what have we been saying for so long?
In Swamp Thing.
I've been saying the Man Thing Swamp Thing crossover is long overdue forever.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be so awesome.
Let's see.
I'm dying for that.
Uni, your turn.
Me next?
No, Uni.
Or Uni. All right.
I would bring in Elektra, and I would put her in the Batman series because Batman doesn't kill things, she does. And come on, they'd be hot together.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Pedro, where's Deadpool going? Where's Deadpool going, Pedro?
Depends
Who
on
is he killing?
which Deadpool. Because to me, I would gladly take this Deadpool and bring him to DC Universe so he can kill all the DC Universe.
Pedro's not a fan of DC.
In control. Para you get Sinestro. Para you get
Yeah, he
Sinestro.
couldn't kill Sinestro. That's the one. They'd be buddies.
Oh, but then Pedro, then you'd get your Deadpool versus Deathstroke match that you've been clamoring for forever and a day.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, Chiefy.
I'd like to see that myself. All right, well, I told you earlier, Spin, but my guy I'm sending to the DC Universe is Mad Dog, Buzz Baxter, because I love the Scoop Deck uniform, and I'm sending him to Batman just to watch Batman kick the living crap out of him in this costume. So that's my answer.
Jules.
Can we
I
send
like that you
Black
busted
Jacket
out
too?
the handbook of the Marvel Universe.
Oh
for
yeah.
that.
Oh, I had to.
I had to.
I got to show that picture. I talk about it, and people don't believe me that he's got the chest hair coming out of the scoop neck with the little dog mask. That character bugs me. Sorry.
Go ahead, Jules.
So I would pull Hawkeye, because I love Hawkeye, and I would throw him in with Arrow so they could team up and kick some butt.
Okay. Megan?
Guys with arrows. I don't know.
Megan, where's
Might
Mystique
be a
going?
good crossover.
Where's Mystique going, Megan?
She can be
Lord,
anywhere.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't read DC because DC sucks.
No way.
No.
What?
Just put her in Batman.
No,
Just put her in
honestly-
Batman.
I'll put her in Batman. You know
my pulse
why?
DC.
Because she's such an awesome spy. She would give Batman a run for his money. He'd never be able to freaking figure it out.
Now,
There you
for me, yes, I would love to see
That might
Howard.
actually be a bad.
I would love to see Howard the Duck as the head of the Justice League, but I am thinking I am going to take one of my least favorite characters. I am going to take Captain Marvel, and I'm going to put her in Supergirl when Supergirl's got the Red Lantern ring, and watch Supergirl rip her head off.
You guys have so much anger.
Stole my idea. I got a legitimate beef with Buzz Bastard.
But I would love to see Howard as the head of the Justice League. That would be great to see Howard bossing Batman around. Calling.
She would never fit in with Batman's world. There's another fit somewhere. This doesn't work. Just saying.
Oh, put X-23 with the Teen Titans. There you go.
That's
All
kind
right.
of good. I like that.
I think that one would be actually what would be good is also take the original X-Men currently and all new X-Men and put them with the Teen Titans. That would be a good mixture of the two young teams. That might be cool.
I found that question hard because they did the DC versus Marvel crossover a few years back.
They did.
And so a lot of the stuff that people wanted to see was done in that, I think.
Happened.
Except the
Yeah,
Man
like
Thing
that
versus
is
Swamp
Wonderful
Thing.
X-Men Teen Titans crossover.
Yeah.
The
of
only
the
thing
80s.
the only thing we didn't get was the
Indeed.
Swamp Thing Man Thing battle. That's the only thing they had. It was perfect, lined up.
I'm telling you, we ought to start a campaign for that because I have been dying for that
Started.
forever.
I think so.
Yeah.
It would be
wait.
awesome.
I got another one. I want to take Pete Wisdom and put him with Constantine. I want to take Pete Wisdom and put him with Constantine.
Could be interesting.
Because I'm loving I'm loving the Revolutionary War series right now. I'm loving the Revolutionary War arc. I'm glad the Marvel UK is back.
I have those, but I have yet to read them. I haven't
gotta
got
read
to them yet.
But looking at my clock, that is it for tonight. Cullen Bunn, I want to thank you for coming on our show tonight. I hope you had fun with us. I hope we weren't too crazy and out there for you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
No problem.
Oh, it was an honor. Thank you
It was
for
an honor.
coming.
It was an honor to have you.
I'm truly honored. I don't have any words to say.
Well,
Pedro, are you
it was a lot of
blushing?
fun.
Yes. I'm all awake, 3 in the morning, with 100 degrees here.
Oh,
and
boo-hoo.
loving it.
Talking to one of your favorite comic writers, isn't it blowing your mind?
Yes.
Well,
So awesome.
thank you. Seriously, thank you guys so much for talking to me. It was a lot of fun.
Anytime. We hope to have
Thank
you
you.
back again sometime
No
in the
problem.
future. Maybe once Magneto's been on for a little bit in Sinestro, we'd love to have you back on. Jules,
Oh,
who
anytime.
do we have on next week? Do we have someone on next week that you put up?
Oh,
Do you even remember?
we do have someone next week, but I don't have her prepared.
Okay.
I mean,
We
I
do
don't
have
have her name. Or,
We do have a guest.
She's coming on.
We do have a guest
I'm
next
sorry,
week.
I apologize.
That's fine. We do have a look out. Well, you know what? Subscribe to our newsletter, and you will know who's coming on next week.
She does. Yeah.
Exactly.
She works on Golden Age. It's an all ages comic. Can't remember her name though.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Well, she's coming on in a few weeks. We will have Nathan
Cut that
Edmondson.
part out.
Okay. No, I'm leaving that in. In a few weeks, we will have. We're gonna have Nathan Edmondson on with us, the writer for Black Widow and Dream Merchant. And then we will have Josh Elder on, who's currently writing the Scribblenauts Unmasked series over on DC.
Yep.
So stay tuned for those. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check us out on followingthenerd.com. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Check out everything that Cullen is doing at his website, which is, sir, it is?
It's just cullenbunn.com.
Check out all his stuff, his entire library. Go pick up the 6-gun. And so until next time, good evening, good night, and good luck.